everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm so excited to have you here because we're going to learn about dreams that people have about traveling the world. I'm so excited to have a huge travel content coordinator or creator, I think you call it nowadays, on the show. Her name is Raimee, and she has Raimee Travel. Raimee, how are you today?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to talk travel and all of the dreams that come along with it. So thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, you flew up here from LA, so I appreciate you making the trip up.
Yes.
And one of the things that people talk about is they have dreams in their childhood about traveling the world. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, did you have those kind of dreams when you were young? And tell me a little bit about you, because people don't know you like I know you.
Yes. Okay. So I grew up in Michigan in a relatively small town, and I don't think world travel was ever really on my mind as a kid. But my mom took my brother and I on a cruise to Belize and Honduras when I was 14. And up until that point, I don't really think I thought about other countries. You know, I was so in my little world in Michigan. I didn't really see what else was out there. And that trip is really what changed everything for me and made me realize I had this dream of seeing more. I think realizing there was so much beyond my little town, I wanted to see it all. I wanted to see everything after that trip. So
it lit a fire in you.
Yes. I remember the moment stepping off the boat and just seeing people shuffling about, seeing little food stands, people on motorbikes going through the jungle. And I just remember taking it all in, being shocked that a place could be so different. And I wanted to see more ever since then.
So was your mom supportive of that? I mean, at 14, how did that start to, what was your journey to become what you are today?
Okay, so I think that's when I really realized, I started going on the internet then, right? How can I travel more? What types of things can I do? I was a teenager, right? And I found this program that would let me, at the senior year of my high school, go on a trip to Europe. And that was what I wanted to do for my spring break. While all my friends were going to Mexico and the Bahamas to go party and drink, I just was never really into that. And I told my mom, I'd much rather go to Europe with you on my spring break, do this program where we'll go to, I think it was London, Barcelona, and somewhere in Italy.
Okay.
And we got to do that together. I brought two of my friends who also were interested. And that was my spring break trip. And that was my first time in Europe. And that again I was like, I need to figure out how to come back here. What can I do?
So what was it about the travel piece that was really speaking to your dreams? Like, what was it? Was it seeing other people? Was it visiting the places? Was there something in particular that really spoke to you?
I think understanding that we are, so when you travel, you see all of these different ways of life. And I think I was taking that in, as a teenager and realizing people are living so differently and this culture is different, but at the end of the day, we all want the same things. We all want family, we all want love, we all want to be happy. And I think I was starting to realize that if more people understood that fact, we could all get along better, we could all understand each other better, and I think it would make the world a better place. And that sounds like a big idea, I guess, for a teenager to have, and maybe it wasn't that well formed back then. But I think that that's always been the driving force of why I want to travel and why I want to encourage other people. So I knew if I can teach other people to do this and why they should do it, maybe it can make the world a little better.
So for people who don't know you, you're a travel content creator. What does that mean?
Yes. So essentially that means I post TikToks and Instagrams. I create videos on the internet, also on YouTube. And my primary focus with these videos is to help people travel smarter and better so that they can plan trips without feeling overwhelmed or intimidated or feel like they have to spend a lot of money. I always want to create content that helps people achieve their dream of travel, really.
So you said something earlier that I want to circle back to, and you said you had this vision of how seeing people in all these different places, realizing that we're more the same than we are different, even though there may be different cultural backgrounds, they may have different financial situations. So has that kind of become a mission for you, or a vision for your company, or how are you living that portion of it?
I think that with anything, that you do in life, any type of pursuit or career pursuit, there's always, you can kind of get away from it at times. Well, why am I doing this? Sometimes I'll be creating a video and it won't perform well, or I'll get overwhelmed with all the work I have to do. And I come back to that mission of why am I even doing this? And that portion of it, to show people that we really are more alike than we are different, is the driving force. So when I remember that, I get excited again, even when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
See, I think that's important because a lot of people do things, their driver is money, or their driver is fame, or their driver is notoriety.
Yes.
But I don't think, and people assume when you're on social media that those are your drivers.
And you can get caught up in it too, because there are times where a video will do well and, you know, maybe I'll be getting a lot of praise or a lot of comments from people that does feed that. Everyone has an ego. But then you realize this doesn't matter. It's fleeting. So, and what happens when that goes away? And that's when you have to come back to that underneath it all, the mission of why. And I think I was telling you a little earlier before, if I get one message that says, I took this trip because of you, and it changed, you know, it changed the way I thought about something, or I had the best time with my mom on this trip because you helped me plan it, that is like the best day ever for me. And I just come back to, if I could do that for one person, and the fact that I've been able to do it for more than one, like I just want to keep doing that. That's yeah.
And I think with social media, it's such a fickle animal, because you can have people who love you one second, and then you have people who hate you, and then you have people that, and as a child, as a 14-year-old, you probably didn't see yourself where you are today. I mean, you have what, 600,000-700,000 followers? It's a lot.
No, I didn't. I think, especially growing up at that age, YouTube was kind of starting, but we didn't have Instagram, we didn't have TikTok, no, you know, there weren't really influencers. And so I think actually when I was that age, I wanted to write books, and we can maybe talk about that because that's still a dream of mine. But I always wanted to share a story, and I think the social media has been my way to do that right now. I love editing video, I love photography, so it's been my avenue, but I would like to explore other things too, because it is fickle and you never know.
Do you think that your followers think you're super outgoing, and what do you think their impression of you is versus maybe what's your authentic self? I'm just curious.
I think a lot of people do think I'm outgoing, and you know, I'm kind of shy at first. I can be a little reserved, and I think especially in large groups, I get really shy, but I think that's why I do well on social media, because it's in my control, and I can control what's going out there. I'm making the edit, I'm making the content. It doesn't matter what's going on around me, but if I'm in a big crowd of people, I can be very shy, and it takes me a while to warm up to people. So that's the reality, and sometimes that shocks people to hear because I can seem very outgoing, but no.
So when you were dreaming as a young child, did you think, I want to be this travel person, or did you have some other dreams that maybe just went by the wayside, or that like you mentioned, writing a book? Talk to me about that.
I used to write a lot of poetry. I used to write a lot of short stories when I was younger, and so I did know that I kind of wanted to write a book one day, maybe. I also did start doing video editing when I was younger. I would make little movies with my brother, and we made like a vampire series movie. So I've always wanted to do something like that, but I didn't know what my dream was. I actually remember a time when I was kind of like praying, saying, what is my purpose? What is my passion? I'm so envious of people who have this musical talent and they're born with it, right? And you kind of get this notion in your head, well, all these other people have these dreams planted within them. What's mine? And it's kind of interesting now that I've found my way into this, and I do feel like it was blossoming that whole time, and it was shown to me in all these ways that have led to where I am now, but I was definitely not sure of where I would go.
So you just said something, dream planted within me. I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. Like there's a seed that's planted within you, and it's kind of what things do you do that start to nurture that to make that grow.
Yes, and that's true. I think a lot of people like myself feel that they should have this inherent knowing of what it is, but like you said, sometimes you just have to do something over and over again, And that's what turns it into a passion, because you get better at it. And I was traveling, you know, I liked this thing, and I found I wanted to be an au pair in Germany for a while, because that was going to be...
Well, you visually could have been an au pair
Right?
in Germany, because that's usually what you look like, what they look like.
And I begged my parents to let me go do that when I was 18 instead of going to college, actually. And they were like, no, you're not doing that. I kind of convinced them, and they were going to let me do it over a summer. But instead of that, I found some internship in London that I did for the summer. But I was always scheming ways I could travel, and now it's led to this now. But it is like that little seed that started to grow because I was watering it with all these things.
So I've never had that travel seed like that.
Yeah, but you have other...
But I had the seed to want to do that with family and take everybody. So my big dream was, and I've talked about it on the show before, my dream was to take all my family on a big trip, which I got to do. So, and spend quality time with them and focus time. And sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't. But, you know, the goal is to keep trying it and doing it again and again and again. So new dreams, you mentioned something about a book.
Yes. So we've talked about this a little bit, but this travel that I'm doing right now, like I'm flying to Kenya tomorrow. Hence the outfit.
Hence my outfit.
Yeah. It's not sustainable long term, and I know that, especially because I do want to have a family relatively soon. So going back to that original dream, when I was younger, I've always wanted to write a book. I love fantasy, and I feel like I've picked up so many cool stories from around the world and perspectives through my travels that I have an idea for a book that next year my focus is to slow down the travel a little bit and write the book, and hopefully my audience will want to read it. It's going to be fiction, but it will be inspired by travel, and I think it'll fit together really well.
So one of the other pieces of the puzzle with you is, because you have such a creative mind, keeping that at the forefront in your dreams and moving forward. Do you see, you mentioned having a family and things like that, do you see being able to sustain being a content creator and, you know, merging those two lifestyles together and making it about travel still?
Right. I think in some ways, yes. It'll be interesting to see how the internet changes over the next couple years, because it changes so fast. But I would love to share tips with families about, you can actually take that dream vacation with your family. It doesn't have to be as expensive as you might think. And I think there's a lot of content I could continue to make from home without going out into the world with all of my knowledge. So that's kind of the plan. I think I'll still always want to share that, because imagine if a family messages me one day and says, we took our dream trip to Spain because you helped me get there with credit card points and we didn't have to spend thousands of dollars. That's life-changing, and I would love to continue to change people's lives. So yes, I'll just slow it down a bit, because it's hustle right now. But
it's hustle mode for sure. So what are some of the thoughts or dreams that you have as it relates to your current business? I mean, as far as imploding it or moving it forward, are you thinking about going into any other mediums, or besides writing a book in the future? Yeah,
I definitely want to get more into long-form YouTube content, actually. That's a big goal for me this year. I have the trip I'm going on in Africa, I'm going to make a long form 20-minute kind of vlog video about safari and planning what you need to know, because a lot of people need more detail than, you know, my videos are quick. They're 30 to 60 seconds, and sometimes people say I talk too fast. So I want to do a long form medium, which would be cool, and build out my website a little more. I don't really want to I don't have this goal of getting to 1 million followers or anything. I don't care about that. I just want my audience to be engaged and trust me and get to know me more so that they can trust me more. And I think a lot of my stuff is very informational, which is good, but I think I want to weave some more storytelling. So what is something that your audience doesn't know about you that would be interesting for them? The fact that you're not really super crazy outgoing, a little bit more reserved. Yeah, I think I don't talk enough about my other interests, which... What are those? Most people are multi-hyphenate. You know, we're all interested in a lot of things, but I think I get put in this, she's the travel girl bucket. But I'm such a film, TV, lover, sometimes snob. And I sometimes talk about that online, but I would love to share more about that because that also influences where I travel, because I get ideas from shows with beautiful destinations, or, you know, there's so much culture in those things too. And
What are some of your favorite movies?
Oh, my favorite movies? Pride and Prejudice.
Romantic.
I love Pride and Prejudice.
What about it did you love?
The costumes, the setting, the acting is great. I love how it's shot. I really like when there's good cinematography. There's one shot in that movie that I love so much. I could nerd out on movie stuff for a while. What else? Oh, I also really like horror movies.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I was named after a horror film director.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Sam Raimee was his name. He made these movies called Evil Dead in the 80s. But they're kind of camp horror. They're not scary. They're kind of funny.
How did your mom pick that?
Because she loved these movies because they're silly, horror, like she's weird, like me. So that's something, see, people don't know that. But I like quirky things like that.
So you have parents that are both in the TV industry.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And my mom is in the news and my dad works in sports. So I do think that kind of influenced me being in media as well, of course. It's different. They don't understand what I do, but being around that industry.
Do they think it's not as important?
I think at first, yes.
Yeah.
And I think there's still some people that are shocked that, oh, you make a full-time income from that? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not doing this for, of course there's my driving mission, but it has to be sustainable financially too. So people are still shocked by that, and my parents, now they get it. But
I think that's the number one question. Mm-hmm. How can I get paid to travel and have a nomadic life and do, I mean, I hear that all the time. How do I get to be paid to travel? Mm-hmm. I mean, that doesn't suck.
No.
Right?
Yeah, but it's also not as glamorous as it seems too, because it can be very exhausting because you have to be constantly moving time zones, and it's not vacation, which is something I also want to prioritize
different.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is work. I'm on the ground. I'm thinking, okay, what shot do I need to get? What story am I going to tell? Oh, the sunrise was bad today. I have to wake up again tomorrow to get this shot, to tell the story I want to tell, and script this out and send it to a brand. And there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes where it is a job. And
it really is, because I've watched some of your things, and I know you've traveled and you've been gone 5 days and you've done like 30 days worth of stuff in 5 days. It's like nonstop.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I want to prioritize actual vacations where I'm not thinking about that. And it is hard for me to do, because if I'm in this beautiful place, I love making videos. Like it is fun for me. So I've discovered now that if I want a real vacation, I need to go somewhere I've already been, because then I won't be tempted to, be making content about it.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I thought I might try to do is, because when I go on vacation, I'm still mentally working. I'm still mentally trying to be present, thinking of other things I have to do. I thought, well, I'm going to buy a really good camera and leave my phone in the hotel room and take the camera, because what I want to capture is the moment, so I can remember it. But when you're doing your phone, you get all the other distractions. So I think actually, and I see more people buying cameras.
Me too. I think it's cool. There's a trend in even buying cameras that don't show the image, non-digital cameras. So you just get the one shot, and then how's it going to turn out? What are those disposable cameras?
Right.
Or film cameras. There's a big trend in that.
Coming back to film.
Cool. Coming back to film, so you don't get caught up in taking a million shots to get the one. And then it's just the moment. And I think that's cool. And
I think that's better.
Love to do that too.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon for you?
As far as travel, or
as far as just future dreams?
Okay, future dreams. Other than writing the book, which will be my focus next year, I think having a family, finding a place that I don't feel like I need to travel from. I want to feel settled, because being nomadic and traveling all the time, it's great, it sounds cool, but there's also really something to be said for having a community, loving where you are, being able to have a routine. That is something that gets so thrown off when I'm doing all these trips. And I told you I've been going to Pilates recently this week and it's been nice and I'd love to keep going. Oh, but now I'm traveling again. And I love my Pilates instructor. She's like a friend of mine now, and that'd be great to continue that. And you lose that when you're always on the go. So that's a big dream of mine, to cultivate a community that I really love with my family.
It's almost like when you do what you do, you're almost putting yourself second or third, because you're constantly thinking about first the content. You're not thinking about necessarily taking care of yourself.
Yeah. So
right?
how can I help other people do what I'm doing with their families, actually taking vacation? I'm not taking vacation, but I'm going to help them do that. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I love it, but I know it's not long term.
So some of your best tips that might be fun to share with people watching, because I know I always think about, I have all these points. I probably have 400,000 points on American Express.
Use them or lose them.
I have no idea what to do. I'm such a geek when it comes to that stuff. I have no sense of what's the best way to do it. What are the top cards? Or so if you had to give somebody the 3 top points about hacks about using your points, what would they be? Okay. To help those dreamers get off the couch and get on a trip.
The first thing I will say and encourage to everyone, I'm looking in the camera, your points are not going to be as valuable as they are right now, because these loyalty programs change monthly, weekly. They're always devaluing the amount that you can get out of your points. So your 400,000 points right now, you might be able to get, 5 business class flights out of that amount of points. Next year, you might only be able to get 2, because they're going to change the rules. So if you have points and you want to take a trip, just do it. You have to just book the trip, figure the rest out later. So that's number 1. Number 2, how do you actually book that and know what is the best option for your points? There's 2 websites I'll recommend. One is called seats.aero. It's seats.aero. And this website is amazing. It looks very basic, but what it allows you to do is filter the credit cards that you have and the loyalty programs you belong to, and search a ton of different routes all at once. So let's say you want to fly from San Francisco to Japan. You can filter and see how many points you need in economy, in premium economy, and in business class on the dates you want to fly. You can search a whole calendar view.
Oh my gosh, and that sounds fantastic.
And you got to be a little flexible if you want to redeem your points at the best rate. But seats.aero is great, and there's another website that's very similar called point.me. I use both of them. They're pretty much the same thing, but it just depends visually what you like better. So I would test them both out. They both have free versions and paid versions. It's like $10 a month, which I think is so worth it if you want to get the most value from your points. That's going to help you find the flight you want and actually use them to get what you want out of them.
Okay. Is there a third?
I know, I'm thinking of a third. Okay, and a third thing, this one's a little crazy, but I love to fly business class with my points because I'm bougie now, and if I'm only on certain...
I've only done it once.
See, but you have the points, so you could do it.
I know, I've only done it once.
So it can be hard to find good business class redemptions, because sometimes it'll cost a crazy amount, like 300,000 points one way. That's a bad, terrible redemption. A good business class redemption would be anywhere from 40,000 points to 100,000 points one way. That's considered anywhere in that range. Obviously, the lower, the better, is a good value. So how do you find those deals? You do those searches on those websites I talked about. But another way, and this is the crazy part I mentioned, is if you wait until last minute, those deals pop up. So let's say I'm actually going to check for my flight tomorrow. There is
to Tanzania.
Yes.
Okay.
From LAX. I've been checking every day if a good business class reward.
So you don't have a ticket yet?
I have an economy ticket booked.
Okay.
So I always have some kind of economy refundable. If you book economy with your points too, you can always get those points back if you cancel. But last minute business class deals will pop up. Dane and I did this to Japan last year. We booked our flight 2 days before it took off. We got business class to Japan for 47,000 points each, which is so few points for business. Lie flat. We were in the sky for 10 hours because it popped up 2 days before the flight.
Wow.
We had tickets booked just in case. You would fly that anyway. So I always tell people, just check. check the days before, check those websites I talked about, might pop up, and then you quickly transfer your points, book that business class flight, and you'll get, those fewer point redemption business class tickets.
So one thing I do want to say is I'm just super excited that I have Raimee as someone I can pick up the phone and call. So that's fantastic. And we've had some amazing trips. And I just want to say, I'm so thankful that you flew up here today to hang out with me and learn a little bit more about you. And I'm so excited about your book.
Yes.
So I can't wait
I will have to
see.
You'll help me edit some parts.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm excited about that. Well, thanks for visiting. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go travel. Follow Raimee Travel.
At Raimee Travel. And if you have any questions about anything, write them in the comments and I'll respond. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Let's go.